Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. There's no international game today in the men's arena, but I had to do this podcast because after 2 weeks, my co-host is back, and I really wanted to chat cricket. We didn't really need to do the podcast today, but I was in desperate need to talk to him. This is the only excuse I get to speak to him. He's a very busy man. How are you doing, Don?
I'm good. I'm good. You paint a picture of me that's not true.
No, I just was desperate to just say hi to you, so I said let's do a
You
podcast.
can
It's
always
important.
call me. You know that, right?
It's just an excuse to get you on and speak to you. But I know that you've been busy, but been following the cricket. India in the West Indies. There's England, South Africa as well. But if we just talk about the India West Indies game, it turned out to be a thriller actually, and a good test for these young Indian bowlers in particular. I felt batting wise they were 20-30 short, but bowling wise. Again, Prasidh Krishna showed his inexperience there. A few mistakes in the field as well. Akshar Patel wasn't that effective, but Mohammad Siraj, good to see him hold his nerve in the last over.
Absolutely. I think overall, I think this is a good test. Like you said, I know West Indies is not a strong team by any stretch of the imagination. They are also they've been going through a kind of a revamp for a long time. Every time they look like they're getting ready, they're more a T20 game. I think 50 overs has been a challenge for them. They've
Yeah.
hardly found it. They found it hard to even finish 50 overs without getting all out because of their T20 format and style. But it's like improvement, slow improvement are being seen. They made a run for it, and they lost only by 3 runs in the end. And
Yeah.
yes, like you said, the inexperienced bowling side, I think Siraj and Chahal, of course, standouts. But almost none of these guys will make the 11 for, except for maybe one or two. I don't think anyone else is going to really make the 11 for the World Cup when it comes down next year, because the likes of Rohit, Virat, Bumrah, Shami, Hardik, there's a lot of good players that have already kind of cemented their spot. But it's good to have this bench strength. You see the likes of Gill, the likes of Siraj, the likes of who else did well? I think overall, I think these two were the standouts. And Shikhar Dhawan, as usual, has been consistently performing in the one day format. So there's some good, I guess, enviable bench strength that's available, which is always nice to see. So yeah,
Mhm.
overall, I think it was a good test for these youngsters, and more to come from them, I think, because there's another couple of ODIs plus 5 T20s as well. So there's a lot we can learn from some of these guys. And hopefully, like Siraj and Gill did, if they can continue showing a little bit of more consistency, I think that they will be knocking on those doors, which is always good.
Yeah, Shubman Gill was very impressive. I felt, lazy in the running, but the shots he was playing through
Beautiful.
the offside and leg side, it was really good. And I was very surprised to see him open the batting. I just felt that I'm so used to seeing him in the test arena. I felt someone like Ishan Kishan might have played, or even Gaikwad. I didn't expect Shubman Gill to open the batting in the one day arena, but I'm so glad because I feel he's the future of Indian cricket. Him and you're going to laugh, but Prithvi Shaw, I think these two are the future of Indian cricket, right? Because, that under 19 team, I still remember, they were so clinical. And yes, it doesn't directly translate into international success, but I just feel that these two are one of the most talented youngsters in the Indian team or
You
in an
know,
Indian
you know
cricket.
why you know why Gill got the opening ahead of someone like a Rituraj or a Ishan?
Yes, I know,
Why?
because Rahul Dravid is the coach.
You boy.
But the thing is, Rahul Dravid coached Ishan Kishan as well, right?
Has he? Maybe he
Yeah.
has.
In
Maybe he has.
2016, Ishan Kishan, Rishabh Pant were in the same team. Sarfaraz was there as well. I think Ishan Kishan was captain in 2016, and Pant and Sarfaraz both played under him in that game. In that tournament, they lost to West Indies in the finals.
But all I'm saying is Rahul
Yeah,
Rahul Dravid knows what's up. So it's
yeah.
it's nice to. I mean, we all knew about the talent of Gill. I think that there were some admin issues with him, like we still talk about running between the wickets and stuff like that. I feel like he's too
That was
elegant a
a
player.
century, man. I don't know what he was doing in that
Yeah,
run.
it's a poor running, I think. But unfortunately, it's good to see that he got that 64 odd, which is a good score. He hopefully can build on that. I think he has the capability, just a little bit more clinical with his I feel like he switches off in games. We've seen that at T20 as well, where he suddenly switches off a little bit. I just think that if he can get that focus 24/7, I think he has what it takes to be the next big thing for Indian cricket, just like Punt is showing right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the most positive thing for him was the strike rate because there's a lot of criticism of his strike rate, but he was plus 100
Over 100.
strike rate, yeah, and he was batting beautifully. And your boy Shreyas Iyer loves playing in the West Indies. It doesn't bounce, bro. It doesn't
Another half
bounce.
century, man. Another half century.
Yeah,
You can't. He keeps coming up with these scores, so he makes it hard for, I think, the selectors to
but in
overlook.
particular, do you notice in West Indies he does well? Is it because of the lack of
Lack
bounce?
of bounce. It is. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
so
I
yeah, I
mean,
think.
I want him to fix that. I think he's a good player overall. I think he just has one flaw, and I think it's very unfair that one flaw becomes such a big thing, and it's going to become a talking factor. We saw it with Suresh Raina, but Suresh somehow like dealt with it, and we've been talking about this like a broken record now. I think especially me. I think online, offline, wherever I've gotten a chance, I've always said he has to try to fix it. Whatever it is, he needs to fix it really quickly because I think he's a very good player. He has the capability to play, especially after Virat maybe resigns in the next year or two. We are seeing I really hope it's not true, but I'm thinking 2-3 years because he's already 33, 34, maybe 35, 36. That's usually the age right now. So if he does that, I think Shreyas Iyer has 3-4 years of cricket to give. Because he's still 28, 29, I think, if I'm not wrong. So he still has I think he still has some time if he can fix that issue to give to Indian cricket. But he has to fix that short ball problem.
Yeah, 100%. And if you just look at from the West Indies side of things, the way they fought back with the ball, because India were 230 for 2 in like 40 overs, they could have easily got 350, but they bowled really well. They pegged things back. Azari Joseph was really good, Akil Hussain. And then with the bat, Akil Hussain and Romario Shepherd, the Sunriser, this is why they picked him for that much. He batted really well. And unfortunately, he didn't bat like this for the Sunrisers, but
he didn't get too many chances, to be honest.
Yeah, I felt that he could have won the game. It was just Siraj bowled that last ball really well. But till the last ball, I felt that West Indies were in the game, and he kept them in the game along with Akil Hussain. They took the game deep, and they'll take a lot of confidence. Yes, it wasn't a victory, but to take India to the brink like that, it might not be India's strongest team, but still, it's a quality opposition. So for West Indies to take them to the edge, I think it'll give them confidence.
Absolutely, I think not only Romario and Akil, I think even Brandon King was both playing well. I think his run rate was a little slow. He was hitting the fielders way too often. I think in the commentary also they kept mentioning that a couple of times because he was struggling to find those singles, just to turn the strike around. But apart from that, I think even what's his name, Shamara Brooks was good. Even he had a little bit of a strike rate problem. But Kyle Myers, I think that's a name to look out for. I think every time he's played for this West Indies side, he's looked good. I think again, even he was almost on the same level as Shubman Gill. So I think, like you said, the bowling was good, the batting was good in pieces. I think just one more step, they're there and thereabouts, but they can really turn this thing around. And I think that they have good players. I think they need to be. I think Nicholas Puran needs to take a little bit more on himself to be that mainstay in the middle order to push things along. But he has to do that. I think he has a capability. I think he's also younger. He has about 7-8 years of good cricket left in him to give to West Indies cricket. I think he should take that responsibility and really, take that responsibility and start scoring runs as well. I think he is too good a cricketer to be so inconsistent. I think.
It's
so beautiful. Can fix that.
It's so beautiful to listen to you talk about cricket. But yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Myers is the same guy who picked up the 5-4 against England in the Test match. You remember in February, March.
And isn't he the guy who scored that century also? Wasn't he? Was that the no? That was Blackwood. I think Blackwood.
Yeah, the one in England.
It was England. I think when he scored that century and
but he's an all-rounder. So
he's a top player.
Yeah, he's a very good player. So another just last thing on that match was that it was good to see Pollard, Narayan. I think it was a Bravo. There's a third person there. Good to see them in the ground, but not good to see them not playing. Right? Like you want these guys going to continue playing. I don't know what the scene is in the T20 World Cup, but these guys have been legends for West Indies. It's not the same West Indies in the Test arena or whatever, but in T20 cricket, these guys have dominated. So hopefully you get to see them back.
Man. But Pollard has retired, I believe, right? I think it's Narayan hasn't, obviously, but Pollard has retired.
Man. But Narayan doesn't play
with West Indies cricket. It's just a lot more than just talent that is available, but there is so much more talent. It's unfortunate that the likes of Narayan, the likes of Pollard are not available. But I think that this is a much better side than is being portrayed right now. I think they need to just fine tune some of the things, and I think that they have a decent coaching staff that's really working towards it. I think you need to have that little bit patience with them. We talk about Sri Lanka getting some time, we talk about South Africa getting some time. I know West Indies time has been 20-30 years now, but I think they need to just there's always when things are looking right, something or the other just falls apart. Like the board is a problem, or the players are striking and stuff. I think that's the issue.
If you see the T20 what do you call it, the freelance cricketers have won 2 World Cups, right? Whether it's Pollard, Gale, and these guys, but they're getting paid well. You pay them the same for all 3 formats for your international team. I mean, you pay them well. You don't have, it doesn't have to be the same cost, but you pay them well, you'll get the results. So it's just, I think that's what the problem is.
I
Just
agree.
from what I've seen over the last 10, 15 years, I think that's what they choose. The talent is there. Cricket is the biggest passion in West Indies. It's not basketball. It's not football. Of course, they like their football and basketball, but cricket is their main sport. But yeah, I think apart from that, sorry, do you have to take that?
Nah, I think it's just an Amazon dropping package or something like that.
No worries at all. And then moving on, England, South Africa. England are back in the series 1-1. Josh Butler, a sigh of relief for him. There's a lot of pressure after losing that India series in the first ODI against South Africa. A rain curtailed game, but great to see Sam Curran chipping in with the bat, getting England to a par score, and then the bowlers. First it was Topley, and then it was the spinners Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid who got South Africa all out for 83.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Adil Rashid and they dearly missed him in that India series. You could tell because, they didn't have a top quality. I think Parkinson's was trying his best, but he wasn't at the level that Adil Rashid is. And Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali, that spinning combination was just very good. And like you said, Topley in the top is really starting to Topley in the top is really starting to start putting those question marks in the players. He wasn't really in the scene a couple of years back.
He's the 7th or 8th in line. That shows how many injuries England have.
Yeah, so it's always a good headache to have. I think England like India have a good selection headache, but it's just more about their fast bowlers being available. There's a lot of problem with the injuries, and their injuries seem to be long term. It's not like you miss like a month or so in your bag. Jafra Archer, we haven't seen him for a year. Mark Wood suddenly before the IPL, we haven't seen him since. What with the Vokes, he was supposed to be the next big thing because bowling batting that number 7 role that they were struggling with. He's suddenly gone. Sam Curran took so long to come back. It took him almost a year since he comes back. So I don't understand what the problem is over there. But there's something that needs to be done with their I guess, I don't know, medical team with the bowlers or what, or just rest them better, get them a little bit more fit, ready for it. Whatever it is, they need to fix that for sure, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And it'll be an interesting third one day. Both the third one days are, I think, Sunday. I think India, West Indies, and Australia.
India was second West Indies.
Yeah. And the decider for England versus South Africa. So
one big thing is Stokes missing out on ODI cricket at the age of 31. Your thoughts on that?
That's what I wanted to. Yeah, that's Gaurav Pandit is in the house. He's saying, "Arey bhai, kaise ho bhai? Badhiya, aap sunao, sab theek thak." Thank you for joining us Saturday पे जो भी सवाल है cricket related आप पूछ सकते हैं. And Ben Stokes retiring before the 2023 World Cup for me is the biggest shock. I've been hyping him, rightly so. As the best all-rounder, but
okay, today I will say
you guys are gonna come back
best all-rounder.
Now you're gonna say he doesn't play a format. He's not gonna play the World Cup. I don't know. Look, Ben Stokes has had a mental issue as well. He's taken a mental break as well. Maybe it's the workload of the Test arena. Because it's although they're doing brilliant in the Test arena right now, maybe it takes a lot out of him. It's not an excuse, but I think just with the and it's also interesting if you noticed in the last week since that retirement, if you look at the Sky Sports coverage, if you look at the YouTubers, you look at even in India the coverage on CricBuzz or whatever, everyone is talking about trying to get rid of the ODI format. I don't know, it's become a topic now. Whether that's purposely put on or anything like that, I'm not sure. But maybe
remember 3-4 years back there was a lot of talk about test cricket being banished and stuff like that. Now they're talking about ODI cricket being banished. So I feel like this is just like a wave. I think that all three formats have a good setup and they can set that they have enough in them to survive. I just think that scheduling it a little bit should be a little bit more important. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's a little hasty to kind of just banish one format completely. But I genuinely think that all three formats have enough in them to survive. They just have to do a little bit improvements on scheduling, I think.
But the thing is, even Ravi Shastri was talking about, he's doing commentary in the England-South Africa series. He was saying that just make it T20 leagues and make it just one ODI World Cup, and then you have Test cricket have 6 teams and thing. And I honestly feel that's the way they're going to go, because he might have some information. It doesn't mean that he's exactly right, but I am sure he has inside information on this because he's closely worked with the BCCI, and I'm sure BCCI have information on all this.
BCCI is looking at the IPL to become the next big thing, bro. That is definitely there. So they are going to focus on IPL related events all the time. And eventually, I think in the next 5-7 years, I think IPL is going to be played for 6 to 7 months. and ODI cricket and T20 cricket and Test cricket will be played in the remaining 3-4 months. That's
The
definitely going to happen.
only thing I would say is that because there's a World Cup coming next year, I would have liked to see Ben Stokes play. Not
I think that
retire.
would
He
have been
would
a
have.
good time for him to retire as well, right after the
I
World Cup as
understand
well.
the sentiment that if you take a break, other players will perform, and then there's all that complication. But he's such a big player that I don't think it really
It's too
matters.
big. He's too big to miss out. It's too big to
Yeah,
miss out.
so that's one thing I was a bit thinking about. If you want to take Gaurav's comment,
Yes. What is the comment?
can you read it?
I can't read it. Why
It's
can't
not there on the side for you.
I don't see it on my
You know,
side. No,
as
sorry.
England fan, they lag गए हैं 50 ओवर नहीं खेल आप रहे खेल पा रहे हम पता नहीं क्या सीन हुआ टीम के साथ.
I think what he meant is that they're not able to play 50-over format. I don't know. They don't want to play.
यार इधर बारिश के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं या he's talking about yeah, maybe they don't want to play 50 overs. They're not taking it seriously.
Yeah, Gaurav, I think I agree that that I mean, rain is something you can't really contain. That's not in your hand. But I think the 50-over format is a format that is taking least preference now. I think T20s and Test matches are taking a little bit of a higher standing. तो उन लोगों को वही खेलना ज़्यादा पसंद आ रहा है.
I think उन्हें वो बोल रहा है कि इंग्लैंड का जो परफॉर्मेंस हो रही है ओडीआईस में वो खास नहीं है लाइक इंडिया से हारे एंड देन अब साउथ अफ्रीका इट्स 1-1 राइट तो
after inventing cricket 70-80 years पहले इन्वेंट करे क्रिकेट फिर उन्होंने वर्ल्ड कप जीत गए फाइनली अब उन लोगों को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है शायद उसमें नाउ दे आर फोकसिंग ऑन अदर थिंग्स
हाँ लेकिन गौरव भाई अब देखो बॉलिंग अटैक कैसी थी वर्ल्ड कप में वो टाइम पे प्रॉपर बॉलिंग अटैक थी उसमें जॉफ्रा आर्चर थे वोक्स थे उसका क्या नाम था प्लंकेट था आदिल रशीद था मोइन अली तो लाइक बॉलिंग अटैक भी अभी नहीं है राइट वैसी तो जब ये बॉलर्स आ गए वापस तो दे गोना मेक इट डिफिकल्ट फॉर एनी अदर टीम if you have Jofra Archer opening the bowling along with Vokes getting the ball to swing, they'll get those performances back. You have to look at the personnel also. That's what I feel. You see India yesterday, right? They didn't have Bumrah, Shamit. They suffered. They almost lost the game. So you need, especially in big tournaments, you need your star players there. Otherwise, it does become difficult.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and Don, very quickly, Pakistan versus Sri Lanka, Abdullah Shafiq scoring an outstanding 100.
And on a dust bowl, on the fourth innings of a dust bowl, you have to give him extreme credit for that.
So you don't need baseball to chase 300 plus.
you need someone with
have some sucky ball as well.
You just need someone with good temperament and that intent to really finish it out. He struggled a little bit as well. There were a fair few.
There was that LBW as well. That DRS was it?
I think it was a DRS situation, but it was like a umpire. There were a couple of umpires calls actually. I think there was another umpire's call if I'm not wrong. So he had a little bit of luck going in his favor, but at the same time, I think that Babar Azam in the first innings and Abdullah Shafiq in the second innings, I think both of them were very, very good. I think you have to give it to them because Sri Lanka is coming on a little high on confidence after their performances against Australia.
I think they bowled them out for 150, 180 in the last.
And you have to give them credit on the last day of a dust bowl where the Jayasurya is high on confidence. Other bowlers are bowling well. They stuck it out. They won the game, and Pakistan cricket is also very, very good. I think they get a little less talked about because of a lot of outside issues and stuff like that. But I think that this is a side that will pose a problem or two in the future. I think they're developing into a very, very good side now.
Yeah, 100%. Gaurav Singh, he meant that since Morgan left and Stokes left, winning and losing is part and parcel. But see, the innings in Indian series, they bundle out before 50 overs in the whole series. But that's how England play. If you remember the 2019 World Cup against Sri Lanka, they were chasing 220, 230, and they were on course, but then they kept hitting and they got out.
They follow a very simple routine: hit out or get out, khatam, and they will win 7 or 8 out of 10 games in that format, and they are willing to lose those 2-3 games. And as long as it's not a semi-final kind of a situation where they have to probably be a little bit more careful, where it's like a knockout game. But I think that's their style, and they've stuck to it over the past 7 years or now since Morgan rejuvenated this ODI side, the white ball side, so as to say. And I think that that's worked for them, and they're now implementing that in the Test matches as well. And you saw that they won against New Zealand convincingly. They beat India well, so they are working on that, and I think that's their style of play. That this is what they're going to do, irrespective of a couple of losses in the middle here and there.
Yeah, he's saying in the last ODI they didn't play full 29 overs. It's a common concern. We are not Windies, and they're playing better than us. But yeah, I think the thing is, like, there's going to be times where this is going to happen, especially when you don't have your full 11. You're going to have thing like that against India. Look, the pitches weren't as flat as we thought it'll be. We thought, there's a heat wave in England. The pitches are going to be flat. It's going to come onto the bat nicely. It wasn't like that, right? It was a 240, 250 kind of thing, and that suits India more because India had a full strength bowling attack. If you have those 300 kind of wickets, then I think England, it'll favor them because they can score those extra 20, 30 runs. Again, I think there was something going on with Ben Stokes behind the scenes. Not everything was settled for Josh Butler. He's the new captain. They want to play that Owen Morgan way and everything. So a bit of confusion, a bit of thing. But I think these players are really talented, whether it's a Bairstow or a Joe Root or, Butler himself. They will come back, I think. Yeah, the Ben Stokes, for me, him missing will be a big factor. But they do have players. You see England, they have players coming up the ranks. They're going to have days like these where they'll play for 25 overs and get all out and everything, but they'll still be in contention. Imagine they got India all out for what, 140 with their second or third string bowling attack, right? So it's okay. Like I don't think it's too much
I think
concern.
England's just too good a side to talk about these small issues. I'm not saying that these small issues, Stokes retiring, is a big problem for them, but I think, like, a couple of games here and there, they have struggled over the past month in the white ball format. But there's a lot of personal changes. There's a new coach, there's a new there's a new captain, there's a new little bit of a format. They don't have their fast bowlers that they rely on heavily. So these are things that they will have to fix a little bit. But I think that in due course, I think that will all settle down. And I think that this will be a good side again for sure.
Don, just one last topic that we have to cover, but before that, I just want to ask you a question. The top three batsmen for you to watch right now.
Oof, that's so hard. Oh man, Josh Butler. I think Josh Butler is in the form of his life. I think Josh Butler for sure. Babar Azam. I think Babar Azam is, I think it's a little bit unfair that he's not been talked about as one of the top overall, the Fab 4, Fab 5 decisions, because everyone in the Fab 4 is unfortunately struggling, maybe except for a Joe Root. And I'm gonna jinx it, I know, but I'm Virat Kohli, man. If he's gonna make that comeback, because he's
Bro, I'm talking about now, Don.
in now, as in like what?
Who's your top three? Like, who you're saying he's top three for you?
No. You said you were looking. I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Yeah, you can. Okay, that's
in the current scenario.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No issues.
I think if I have to, because Virat Kohli is really not in form right now. So
yeah, no, that's fine. So basically, three players that you're looking forward to now
in the next few months
is Butler, Virat Kohli, and you said Babar Azam.
Yeah.
For me, who I enjoyed recently and who I'm also looking forward to is
Johnny
Bairstow, Babar Azam, and Rishabh Pant. Sorry, we lost Don there.
No, I'm right back. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I said Johnny Bairstow, Babar Azam, and Rishabh Pant.
Oh man, that's really good. That's
Rishabh Pant is just incredible, man. He's the new superstar in Indian cricket.
Johnny Bairstow, Babar Azam, and Rishabh Pant. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Gaurav is saying Matthew Moore doesn't give me good vibes. If they want an Australian, they should have targeted Justin Langer or Gary Kirsten as coach. Archer is gone, man. If he comes, he won't play IPL for sure. Sam Billings should replace Stokes. He's very talented. I mean, also Sam Curran is a kind of a Stokes replacement. It's very early days, but he's that type of player, because I honestly rate him more as a batsman than bowler, especially in limited overs. Yesterday, the sixes he was hitting, even the four straight down the ground, man. He's just smashing it. He got out the same way to Shamsi, but he was just hitting it clean. I'm not saying he's going to be the same level as Stokes, but he's somebody there. They have those utility players. I don't think England have a problem with that. Sam Billings is a very talented player as well, but they have a lot of options, man. Even you see from the county cricket, there's going to be players coming in. Phil Salt, what a player! He's the perfect replacement for Jason Roy. He's outstanding. Livingston is still hitting his strides. Once he becomes consistent, he's going to be a beast. So they have plenty of options.
I'm not worried about England cricket at all. I think they have enough and more talent that comes through. I mean, yes, Stokes will be a big loss, but I think they have enough talent to cover for it.
Yeah. 100%. And I think that wraps up the Pakistan as well. I mean, it was a great performance from them. We should have talked more about it, but hopefully we'll do that. Tomorrow is the second test match. Let's see what happens there. For Pakistan will be looking to wrap up the series. Sri Lanka will be making a comeback. But also, I felt the pitch became a bit, I would say, not flatter, after, but it became a bit easier to bat on because Sri Lanka batted well in their third innings as well.
Yeah.
And
I genuinely think that plays a very big role in T20 cricket. So
yeah,
sorry, in Test match cricket, I think that the intent of wanting to just stick it out, they want to. And I think they learn from a little bit of experience of the first innings, making some mistakes and stuff like that as well. So that is very important as well, I think. So yes, the pitch must have to become a little bit better, but I think that intent of the players also improves because they've learned a little bit from their experiences in the
yeah,
first innings.
100%. 100%. And Don, we have confirmation that the Asia Cup has moved to Dubai, our favorite place to go watch cricket. It's going to be hot. It's going to be August 28th, 29th. It's going to start. It's going to be crazy hot, but the matches will be in the night. It's not 50 overs this time. The Asia Cup is T20 because of the World Cup coming up. My question to you is that does Virat Kohli get selected for the Asia Cup? And if he does get selected and doesn't perform, does he get selected for the World Cup? And the other question is that will Rohit Sharma be fit?
You put me on the spot for two important questions, bro. Sorry, my thing is
No, you're
moving
looking
around
good,
a
bro.
little
No
bit.
issues, no issues. I can hear you clearly.
But yeah, both the questions. Let's have the first question.
Yeah.
I think that Virat Kohli gets a free rope until the World Cup, T20 World Cup, irrespective of how he performs till then. I think he's too good a player to miss out on big tournaments. I think that even his just having him in the dressing room, cheers up the other people around, and it really pumps up the other people around because his attitude and his style of playing cricket really adds to value. And you saw Ricky Ponting in an interview recently say that they go along with him because the upside of him turning it around is just too massive to miss out on. It's too massive. So I think that Virat Kohli has to play. I think he gets a free rope, in my opinion, until the T20 World Cup. Then we can have these questions about, maybe him dropping a format and still sticking out in the two formats. Maybe like, dropping T20 or maybe dropping test matches and just sticking out on white ball or one of the other. Depends on, I don't know how they'll play that out, but maybe just dropping a format, something like Stokes is doing right now.
For me, he needs to win one game in the Asia Cup.
I'm telling you, man,
He needs to win one game. If he wins one
it's
game,
not a century. If it's a 50 because he's staying there in the end, that's all that matters.
Yeah, like either the chase, what he did against Australia, like something. He wins one game for India, then the talk will be thing because you know what it is, Don. It's not only his confidence will go up and everything because it is a mental game now, but also there will be a lot of pressure on him and the Indian selectors because if he scores single figures again and doesn't cross 20, I think his spot is in a doubt. I don't it's just for me, it's not like I'm a huge fan of his batting, huge fan. I'm like Virat Kohli, like since he started, I've been like a big fan of his just because the way he wins matches for India, right? But runs is the currency to stay in the Indian team and to stay in the thing. That's what can you do, right? Like if you're not scoring, it put pressure on him. It's putting pressure on the captain. It's putting pressure on things. It's not entirely his fault, but I felt that he should have gone to the West Indies, but maybe he needs the break. If we will, I think it's a 50-50 call. He decided not to go. And if he does deliver in Asia Cup, that call was right. So he knows his body better than any of us. So if he's going, I think there was talks that Rohit Sharma had requested him to come to the West Indies, even the selectors. He decided not to, but that there's no bad blood or anything. I think he'll still be selected for the Asia Cup. He will definitely be selected, I think. But if he doesn't perform,
when does the Asia Cup announcement for the team? Do you know?
It'll be in a week or two because the end of August it starts. We're already end of July, so maybe beginning of August. They're going to announce it, and it's going to be in Dubai. Remember, India are the current holders. I was there in that tournament. Rohit Sharma was captain. Virat Kohli was taking a break from the Asia Cup. He's not taking any break this Asia Cup. That's a guarantee. But he was taking a break.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about the team combinations and everything because suddenly just started thinking about Dubai and
Yeah, I've been pumped soon as you said Dubai. Just you said the word. Even though the last tournament I was there in the World Cup, it was horrible. The matches were won on the toss. There was so much dew. I hope it's not like that this time. But hopefully the pitches are fresher because that time the IPL was also there. So I hope the pitches are better now. and we get to see a fun time because I love watching cricket in Dubai. Like that's
And
like
it's the Asia Cup, so it's like a lot of Asian people stay in Dubai as well. So it's gonna be very exciting. There's
anyone who can come. I recommend them to go to the Pakistan Afghanistan match. I highly recommend it. I attended the World Cup match, and the atmosphere was just you're in a movie. It was buzzing.
Yeah,
Uh,
oh, man, that's going to be fun for sure. No, absolutely. And like, sorry to cut you off a little bit over there, but I was thinking about Ravi Ashwin in my head because I think Ravi Ashwin can win it this time. But anyway, moving on to the Virat Kohli debate. You know, the thing that I'm thinking about Virat Kohli, I want to say this and then we can close it for the day. But he's not in bad form. It's just mental for him. Because if you notice, when he comes in, he hits some sublime shots. ऐसा शॉट्स मारता है फिर उसके बाद आउट हो जाता so he just I think it's just mind because remember that one game when he came in he had a 4 and then he got out to I think against England that's 6 straight down the ground I think he was stopping no Dave Willie straight down the ground. What a beautiful shot. I was like, okay, this guy's back. And every time he hits one good shot, everyone's like, okay, he's back. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's in bad form. I just think a mental thing for him. I think the one-day game is a very good game for him to settle down because that would give him a little bit. And like you said, I think it would have been nice for him to play 1 or 2, at least just the one-day series, and then take a break for the T20s. That would have been nice. But I think the one-day game would have given him that time to settle down. But I think, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And hopefully, we'll see the best of him in the Asia Cup. I really can't wait for that.
Yeah, I agree with you with the mental side of things, but there's some technical deficiencies that I'm also seeing. Like especially outside the off, it's become way more prevalent now. It's becoming obvious that he's making mistakes outside the off stump. And there was a very interesting article that I read. I think it was Gavaskar was mentioning it, or somebody else was mentioning it, that bottom hand players generally, as they get older, it becomes a bit difficult. They start making more errors in their technique, and that could be an issue. I think Sachin was a top-handed player, if I'm not mistaken, but Virat Kohli is a bottom-heavy player, and he's making these errors now because if you notice, like you're saying, mental, but I think there's a technical thing there as well. Whether that's reflexes, whether that's because of bottom hand, it's causing a problem because it's not like he's throwing his wicket, but he's making mistakes. He's making which he never used to do before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this talk. He's unlucky. They catch this, that. No, man. Like it's not like that. Like he should be scoring runs, and he's that talented. It's not like.
You remember when Sachin Tendulkar had that offside problem? He had scored a double century with only scoring leg side. He had to start thinking of something. I think it's easier said than done. I think Sachin did it like 20 years back.
I feel that the best thing for him. It's a bit over the top, but if he can go spend time with Sachin Tendulkar right now during the West Indies series, I think that would be really helpful. I know Gavaskar asked for 20 minutes of his time on media. I don't know.
Sunny Bhai has very interesting ways of. I think a very very interesting contrast of Sunny Bhai and Ravi Bhai in the commentary. It's just beautiful to see. I always love that.
Yeah, Abu Bakar's in the house. He's saying Saudi Champagne Casa. Bro, I'm missing Toronto summer, man. It was wild over there. Enjoyed it, but yeah, man, always good to be back here as well. Gaurav Singh, you might see Stokes playing last World Cup. He's also saying that मैं England fan हूँ, but यार Pakistan से मत हारो करो guys. बहुत बुरा लगता है मेरे को.
भाई नहीं हारते, don't worry. वो once in a while.
China, really. India has a problem with left arm seamers. What was the Nasir Hussain dialogue? Do you remember Champions Trophy? When Virat Kohli got dropped and then he got him out the next ball.
Yeah, man.
That's Pakistan cricket for you. One day they're down, when the other second they're up, and like it was crazy.
Yeah. Nasir Hussain's a good commentator, but yeah, I think India has too much riding on this one now for them because the last time they played, they've lost, and they've lost convincingly by like 10 wickets, and Babar and Rizwan really,
But it's crazy that like honestly, India's dominated Pakistan in the last 6 years, 7 years, but one loss like that, it changes perspective in both countries. Of course, Pakistan have the right to boast, but even in India, they went crazy, man. Like it's fine. Like there's so many times you give them drubbings. Like it's fine. It happens. Like
it's a game of cricket. It's going to happen every now and again. You can't expect them to never win an ICC tournament against India. Countries,
like the game was magnified to another level. I was walking around over there, and like my friends are telling people they're Indian, and there's like foreigners who are saying that oh, you lost to Pakistan yesterday. You lost to Pakistan yesterday. Like, it was
Bro,
pretty
ICC is also milking it. Every time they get an ICC tournament, India, Pakistan, same group. Irrespective of
same
whatever,
group.
they
Yeah.
always put them in the same group.
Yeah, they're going to be there in the T20 World Cup and the Asia
And
Cup.
the Asia Cup, yeah.
But India-Pakistan final in the Asia Cup is necessary. I just feel that it's necessary. It's been too long, man. Like, yeah, they played in the Champions Trophy final, but I want to see an India-Pakistan
Not if
final.
Rashid
I don't
Khan
know
and
what
his
we're going to see
boys
in
have
the World
something to
Cup.
say about it.
Huh?
Not if Rashid Khan and his boys have something to say about it.
I mean, there's Bangladesh, there's Afghanistan, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka had a really good World Cup in Dubai, right?
And I think Sri Lankan, the Dubai, they love the Sri Lankan pitches because they have a host of spinners and these spinners and stuff like that. You know,
Hasaranga and the boys will be, ready
and
to go.
Rash, Mujib, and everyone. So I think someone like an Ash will
There
be
will be,
important.
I think, it could be like a Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Afghanistan. It could be something like
Could
that.
be anybody, honestly. All 5 teams are looking on their day can really
The 6th team UAE.
UAE, obviously, I think host nations, right? I think that's
I'm not sure yet. But they're not host. It's supposed to be Sri Lanka, supposed to be the host. But yeah, we'll check it out. We'll do more Asia Cup
you
talk.
can't do it in Sri Lanka, bro. Now the situation has become.
Yeah, no, that's why they shifted to the Dubai.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it makes sense that they did.
But they might be the official host, right? Like in terms of the Sri Lankan cricket board.
Oh yeah, because of the fact that you're right. Because of how IPL.
When it was shifted to Dubai last time, the World Cup or whatever, the Asia Cup, it was India was hosting it.
Right.
So, yeah, let's see how it goes. Plenty of cricket to look forward to tomorrow. 2 big games. I think I'm looking forward to the England-South Africa one. I love watching cricket when it's played in England, and of course, India-West Indies will be fun. The first game was good, but yeah, ODI cricket. Hopefully, we get to see some entertaining games because people are losing interest. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be fun and exciting game. That's what that matters, I think.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Don, for catching up, and I will catch you soon. Take care.